let's get into our last conversation. And today, I want to say specifically, miss me with that for this last hour. Now, you've heard of the idea of roadside rallies, roadside declarations. But the principle between a roadside rally and a roadside declaration is almost essentially the same. It's a politician stopping either beside the road or in a market and to start addressing crowds because why not, right? It could be in the CBD, a trucking stop somewhere where there's a way bridge, anywhere where 2 or 3 people are gathered. Now, this has been happening since President Moi was in office. He would stop by the roadside, stop by the market, buy some bananas from a trader, make sure he's gotten, kamaindi choma here or there, and then fire someone on TV, or if there was, hopefully... That's exactly how it would happen. I know for a lot of us who may not have seen it, just trust me, that's exactly how it would happen. But we've seen it happen even beyond that, a little bit in President Mwai Kibaki's time, but more so in the last few years. Now, in the recent past, we've seen roadside rallies happening everywhere in the country. President William Ruto has stopped at various places in his tours around the country, whether it be central Kenya or elsewhere. We've also seen it happen with Sifuna and company in Kitengela that unfortunately led to the loss of a young life, Vincent Ayomo, who was killed after police fired live bullets into a crowd. But the beginning of that was meant to be a rally, essentially, that was meant to happen at a designated place. But politicians, I guess, get a bit excited sometimes. They decide, you know what, the people are here, the people are following me, wacha nisimamishe tu gari nieke kando, tuongee na watu. And the fact that their vehicles have public address systems makes things very easy. But the obvious pain point here is the disorderly nature of these roadside rallies, how disruptive they are to our everyday traffic and our economic activity. We also don't have this luxury of expansive road networks, yeah? So you essentially create a choke point every time you decide to stop in the middle of the road and to start addressing people. Now, the fact that these choke points are useful in terms of emergency exits, entries, if anything happens, right? Where are people meant to exit from? How are people meant to move? The Public Order Act does require anyone holding a public assembly to notify the police of their intentions with an intended venue or a procession route. Right? You say, I'm going to Tononoka, I'm going to Nyayo Stadium, I am going to this and this market. Or if it's a procession, then you do have to say that this is the procession. It will follow, it'll come out from Kimathi Street, Kenyatta Avenue, go up towards Ngong Road, terminate in Karen, for example, and so on and so forth. The National Police Service is also allowed to suggest alternatives where there is the thought that this might disrupt either the normal public daily runnings of Kenyans, or if there are security issues, they are allowed to give alternatives or to even deny the permit. Now, if you think about door-to-door campaigns where they've worked efficiently, the people who've done it have done an amazing job, essentially leaving their big bad vehicles and going to speak to people and engage with them on the ground. And we'll go a little bit deeper into that. But to this idea of just taking your big Land Cruiser with a big box PA in the back and stopping in the middle of Mombasa Road, in the middle of Jogoo Road, in the middle of whatever road, and deciding to address people because you feel that you are their person and they need to hear from you, I say, miss me with that.
Shika. So first of all, we do that and then we say, clock it.
Clock it. Asante.
Yo. I completely feel you, and thank you for the way you've brought it down. Starting just from the Moi days, and one of the reasons why things were done the way they were done, that a presidential proclamation shall be in writing, is to remove that whole idea of a president standing somewhere and deciding, oh, by the way, Nakuru shall become a city.
Right.
It's to remove such that proper decisions shall actually be communicated properly and in an orderly manner and shall be gazetted, right? That's one. The other one is the fact that what you do by creating disorder and how you inconvenience others is causing a big thing. And we've seen it's become the norm now, by the way.
Right.
We have normalized it. And as we're talking, Philip, you can start just playing back some of these, file footage. You can pick any. You'll have, file footage of yesterday, for example, the opposition leaders want to see the Inspector General of Police, Douglas Kanja, on Jogoo Road, and not on Jogoo Road, at Jogoo House.
Jogoo House, yes.
And when they didn't find him, they just went to another procession and they went somewhere and they stopped and started addressing people, right? This is Moi previously. Moi would just go and stop somewhere, whether it's a school nearby, whether it's a market, whether it's, this and the other. He'd come out and people would feel really, really honored that the president stopped.
Yeah.
And actually, hata alitoka kwa gari. Na akakuja kasalimia wamama hapa na kanunua. I
don't even have the exact location, but that's a typical Kenyan town.
Yeah.
You know how when you're approaching any small town, you'll find the two shops up on Nyuma.
Yeah.
You'll slow down for a bump here and there. And then kumbe unapatana na president hapo.
Yeah, it's a president who is along this road. He's basically traveling. And Moi used to travel by road a lot across the country. He'd travel by road a lot. So this would happen very often. People then would have that feeling of, our president has come to our area. But then there was a feeling of, okay, but what are you doing? What are you doing by doing that? How much congestion are you causing? Because by the time the president arrives 2 hours in advance, police will have come there, they'll be stopping vehicles, they'll be, diverting traffic and so on and so forth, and causing just a huge issue.
Right.
This is Moi, all right? Into the 80s and 90s, and this is how presidents used to do it. This, you can see, is just a roadside.
It's literally by the road.
Yeah, and people had been mobilized, but the chief had said, in fact, we used to have, that phrase, that saying of funga duka Moi apite.
Yes.
Right? It came from this. Rais anapita, everybody close your shop, stop all your business, because Moi anapita. Na akipita nataka awe hapa, mkue hapa, wamama wako hapa, radio wanaimba, vijana wako pande hii, nini, kidole moja mnatingisa kidole ya KANU, to welcome the president as he's passing.
I remember being in nursery school and that happening. Tukatolewa nursery, tukapelekwa the nearby primary school because he was coming to address. Yes, na tukapiga laini.
There has to be children welcoming him, and if it's just a roadside thing, it's all of you, and the chief has come to force you to close your shops and stop your business because Moi anapita, funga duka Moi apite. We stopped this just momentarily, and then we came back to it, and we saw in the previous administration this would happen. For example, President Uhuru Kenyatta would do this. His deputy would go campaigning. In fact, now when he was being called Tanga Tanga, Tanga Tanga was exactly that. That Ruto would be just on top of motor vehicles as he's going and addressing people. Hardly would he go to a venue, a stadium, grounds, meeting grounds, school grounds, and where people are already waiting for him and he's coming to address them and having an engagement with them. It is whistle stop tour. He's here on the highway, twende, stop here, talk to people, move to the next place, stop, talk to people, move to the next one, stop, talk to people. This was in the Tanga Tanga Kenya Kwanza, rather, the Kenya Kwanza campaigns ahead of the last election. President, the then deputy president, and his then running mate, Rigathi Gachagua, doing this.
Where are they?
We normalized it and said, this is how we do our thing.
Yeah.
Opposition leaders would do the same. He became president, he continues doing the same. He just drives by, stops, on top of vehicles, addresses people, moves to the next stop, addresses people on top of vehicles until the one area where he's going to have an event, say launch of Nyota at whatever grounds.
Then there'll be some semblance of
Then there'll be now that semblance of order here because it's contained area. But the rest of the places, he's just moving by. We've seen it with the opposition leaders currently. That's what they're doing now.
Yes.
Now, you raise serious issues. What is the issue here? It is that order. Picture this. Let's even say that there is no violence. That there is police do not introduce violence by lobbing tear gas at the people who are there. But let's just say it's a peaceful meeting, but you, Mariam, who were not part of this meeting, you're not aware that this political leader was going to be passing by.
No. There's no alert on my phone, by the way.
No, there's no alert anywhere. You'd planned a journey and you are off on this journey, then you get somewhere and you find what you've just called a choke point, because ahead, some political leaders have decided that they are doing a rally, and they are many, and all of them must speak.
Yeah.
Right? So they spend 2 hours at this particular stop. They're just talking to people.
Yeah.
You are behind somewhere, caught up in that traffic. You cannot move. No alternative routes provided. You cannot move. Your journey is delayed by these 2 hours. Woe betide you. If they were moving ahead, let's say it's Kitengela and they are going to Kajiado. So from Kitengela tutatoka tufike Kisaju tusimame tena.
No, God forbid.
From Kisaju tufike Isinya tusimame tena tuongeleshe watu. From Isinya tuende, by the time we get to Kajiado and you are going to Namanga, you are going to Arusha.
I'm making it there maybe in 2 days, honestly. Yeah. And that's exactly it. Again, Kenya's road network is expansive, but it's not that expansive. A lot of places are one, especially in smaller towns, it's one main road that lets you in, and then now you have a network of roads and one major road that's the outlet.
Yep.
You block any of those, you're essentially inconveniencing so many people. And I referenced the Public Order Act because this is where the National Police Service also comes in, right? You're required to notify them. You don't need their permission, by the way, to assemble, that not at all, right? But you're required to notify them that this is where I'll be tomorrow for this purpose, right?
Yeah.
Or if I'm having a procession, this is where the procession will pass.
Starting from this time, ending at this time.
Ending at this time, right. The idea is for them to then be able to manage traffic, to keep the gathering secure as well. And if they see that this could be a disruption to life, they're allowed to offer you alternatives or to say, hey, apana. But in the case of politicians, to be honest, I doubt even that these notices are given. I think notices are only required when it's mandamano
when
time.
It's a rally.
Yeah.
Here they'll say it's impromptu. The crowd demanded that I address them. I saw one by Rigathi Gachagua, the former DP, just recently, I think over this weekend, where he was saying he was coming from Narok and he passed by Naivasha and the crowds there stopped him and they demanded that he address them. Okay? And basically he stopped right there on the highway because si watu wamesema ni waongeleshe. So he had to speak to them before they allow him to proceed.
Okay.
Now he's basically claiming that people around this particular town entered the highway and blocked his motorcade and said, you must talk to us before we allow you to pass.
I call BS on that because if you have seen how any of these motorcades move when they are not stopping anywhere, by the way, you are the one who will move out of their way, not the other way around. Police will be clearing the road for them, like you said, and if it's the case of the president, an hour before, even if it is the former DP, for example, who now doesn't have like the bells and whistles of being a member of in like State House or being deputy president, still, they move incognito, they move very, very quickly.
Yep.
It is when you slow down and you start attracting attention that you make it become a rally. Otherwise, they move on our roads every day and we don't notice, with the exception of the president and a few other state officials who are allowed to wee. But everyone else just moves and we don't know until they stop and they come out of the vehicle, they sit on the sunroof. For some reason, the public address system is on and now it's a rally. Yeah.
We saw it in the recent by-elections. We saw it in all these areas where they were having by-elections and the big leaders would come and they'd do exactly this. Stop on top of vehicles and address. And we're going to just upsound some of these just to hear. This is the actual thing that happens in some of these roadside rallies. They are called impromptu, but you can see everybody's organized. They're all dressed in T-shirts and kofias. They're all holding placards. How can that be impromptu? It was clearly organized.
Yep.
Some comment. Farizo Alex says they happened to be wearing party caps that day. Then boom, the party leader arrives and they demanded him to stop. Mobilization.
Mchezo wa town.
Kabisa. The Kikombe, roadside rallies look powerful, but they are often a sign of noise, of a structure, or chasing vibes and not vision. A country cannot be run on loudspeakers on top of V8's banner. Donge. Yeah. Charles Dongo, in recent presidential gatherings, people have rushed the president and I haven't seen tear gas lobbed at them. Why? He also continues to say he had the opportunity of witnessing Kibaki passing by and was really impressed that the president was looking straight ahead, not acknowledging or even waving to the crowds. You know, Kibaki was, why am I stopping? Where are we going?
Right.
That's why they let them come there. That's where we are going. That's a plan. You know,
we understand how things should be done.
Yep.
We, however, do not do them in that manner. My big, I think, a bone to pick here is with now just two people, essentially, which is the politicians themselves, who love to address people everywhere without, I think it's main character energy. You think the world revolves around you, the world should stop when you say stop. When you decide to address the people, you decide to address the people, regardless of the fact that they were going about their own business. These crowds tend to be large, sometimes they're small, sometimes it's even a disruption because 20 people are gathered. I'm not saying 20 ni watu kidogo, but there's no reason for 1,000 of us who work in this town to be inconvenienced because 20 of you want to listen to Mheshimiwa. You can find Mheshimiwa in the baraza, in the public space, at the DO's office, in the park, in the market, in the school, somewhere else. The fact that they love, it's one very main character energy, it's an inconvenience. But it also speaks to how we view politics and politicians, which is almost like it's a celebrity cult-like status. I don't even know if that's, it's almost, it's celebrity fixation.
Yeah.
They are essentially our, you think of some of the reactions when people see a politician, and it reminds me of, I see videos of like when people used to see Michael Jackson for the first time, and it's fainting and screaming and na.
People would stay just outside a hotel because they know Michael Jackson is staying in this hotel, and they live there for days.
Yeah.
They're just hoping that one day he'll come to the window and wave at them.
And just wave.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So then that brings me now to us. We are the third accountability. You know, they say a stool needs 3 legs.
A three-legged stool.
Yeah. A 3-legged stool. We are the third leg. Why do we allow ourselves to want to be mobilized? Let me even not say attend the rally, because the fixer here is right. These caps and reflectors, they don't come from nowhere.
This is not an impromptu.
It's not
roadside stop. It's not.
It's not. It's really not. The placards, you're telling me ulisikia rais anapita hapo ukasema wacha ni print placard yangu. First design, ukaenda Canva, design placard, ukaenda printing shop, ukaprint hiyo kubwa. Alafu
mkakutana na watu wengine kama 50 hapo.
Kwanza ukaiattach kwa nini? Kwa kilingoti whatever. Yes. Ukatafuta t-shirt. Alafu mkakutana na watu 50.
For an impromptu, the same thing that you've done.
For an impromptu rally.
Obviously, it's clearly a lie. But you know, Mariam, maybe as guys with Kina Charles, Kombe, Faris, Timothy Ndemo, who says the roadside meetings by politicians is sickening. One can imagine the inconvenience they cause to people who may be doing other things. It's utterly disgusting. Roadside meetings should be barred. Let's flip the coin. Maybe there's a case for these roadside meetings happening this way.
Okay.
Say, for example, Sifuna Kitengela weekend. Okay? Sifuna amefanyiwa ile kitu by the ODM leaders meeting in Kilifi. And Sifuna needs to meet with these people. People say, no, Sifuna, sisi ndio Sifuna.
Right.
Sisi ndio Sifuna. Come. Sifuna says, I am going to church in Kitengela on Sunday. Okay. Now, this church is small. The church compound is small, right? It's not enough. So the people who are going to be able to be in this church are just a few people. Many more people who really want to come and show their solidarity with Sifuna, saying sisi ndio Sifuna, will be around this church, who will then pour onto the road and follow and run behind this car. So really, it's the people who end up mobbing the leaders when they were coming from church, going towards Nyayo Stadium to attend the HSBC Sevens.
Yes and
Is there a possibility that also that this is what is happening here. This is what's happening. It's the impromptu outpouring of love and emotion by us, the people, which sometimes now ends up being uncontrolled, which, I mean, just allow us our moment. Sorry for any inconvenience. We apologize for any inconvenience caused. You'll proceed with your journey. We just wanted to say hi to Sifuna, to Gachagua, to the deputy president, to the president, to Musalia, whoever.
I'll call BS on that. I'd say no gathering of this size happens without mobilization. It's just the nature of the mobilization, right? Are you giving people T-shirts and placards? Are you buying lunch? But no gathering of that nature happens without some level of mobilization. Mobilization even being just people in the WhatsApp group texting and saying, nani anakuja, Sifuna anakuja, nana atakuwa hapa, atakuwa church, atakuwa, and so on and so forth, and so on and so forth. So it's not to remove from organic support for these leaders, by the way. It does exist, but people don't just, watu watokangi tu manyumba zao na biashara zao, wanakuja tu to show you love, unless it's incredibly rare. It's incredibly rare. So I will say, even in the eventuality that umekuja tu church na church ni ndogo, left to organic means, because how many times do these guys go to church and they go to service and wanamaliza biashara yao and they go back home? All the time. Almost every Sunday there's a political leader in some church somewhere. But it only becomes a rally some of the time, meaning there's an incentive, there's mobilization, there are things happening. So it goes back to you who's being mobilized, unaambiwa toka nyumbani. It also goes back to them for doing that work. It goes back again to the police service to hold these people to the same standards as they do everybody else. They can't just be showing up everywhere all the time, stopping, disrupting traffic, essentially,
So here the issue is not the mobilization. It's okay to mobilize.
I think mobilizing in the correct way. Yes,
it's mobilize for a meeting at this particular venue, which does not inconvenience others. Right? So if it's a church and the church has actually accepted to host you and give you the grounds, fine. If it is a school and you have made arrangements with the management of the school and the children are not in school on that day,
it's a Sunday.
If it's public grounds, say Tononoka grounds, say Kamukunji grounds, and so on and so forth, fine. Okay? But not impromptu, hapo nje, as we are driving, nje ya Tuskies, nje ya Naivas, Pandei Junction, SG wapi, as we are heading towards Bulbul.
Exactly.
That's what you're saying. That's what we're saying. No to that. Okay. Philip, please get some of the events that happened yesterday with the United Opposition, what are they called now? United Alternative Government. After they left the IG's office and then they went and had a roadside meeting. Also some footage of what we saw over the weekend with Sifuna, adding to what we've seen here, with what's happened. And just see, some of these things you could argue are so organic, but people are refusing. And please call us. Let's debate this. And how do we resolve this particular issue? How do we do it? Remember, there are people who see absolutely no problem here. And we'd like to hear from them. Just call us and tell us. If you see no problem, just call and say no problem. Stupid genius, he's a stupid genius. One stupid genius says, once a coincidence, fool me twice, shame on you.
Again, we are part of the problem.
Lenny Steve says, how many will not leave their shambas along the roads? The leaders fly low through and ignore them to let them continue flying with the V8s. Sisi ndio mafala. Kikombe anasemaje?
When Obama was in Kenya, Kenyan cops sent my brother's car back wielding guns. Obama's security let him pass. His wife was in labor in the back seat, and they were 200 meters to the hospital. Inconvenience.
Wow.
That tells you, and this is, again, who are the police here to serve at the end of the day? Your conversation, it needs a whole other hour of itself. But it just tells you, one, they're not used to inconveniencing people where they come from. They know that life must continue. People will have children. children will not continue being born because Obama is around, right? So you understand that you're disrupting people's lives and you need to make exceptions. You understand security is a big part of what is your job, but it's not just the security of one person. It's also of those people who are continuing about their day. And that's a difference in approach. It makes perfect sense. This one's just send you back and tell you, as if it is your fault that today is your delivery day.
Yeah.
Or you should have planned around someone else coming to your backyard. But I'm thinking through the fixes and how rallies ideally should be done, which is one, in an organized manner, like we've said, in public spaces, with good notice given, not even just to the police, but whenever you're doing a traffic disruption, everybody needs to know. Yeah.
For example, during the sevens that was happening at Nyayo Stadium on Saturday, the police had come out and said, this is what is going to happen. Traffic disruptions. We are going to close Aerodrome Road, right? The Douglas Wakihori Road, completely closed. Right. We are going to impact some sides of Uhuru Highway between Nyayo Stadium and Bunyala Roundabout. You make that announcement and tell people, make alternative traffic arrangements, right?
Yep.
Kimani Gashuke found himself in Nyamakema yesterday, where the United Opposition left. He says it was crazy. There are grounds, bana, wapeleke mikutano zao huko. I'm convinced. This is now what happens. Because you do not know. You are going about your business. You had planned to be around Nyamakema yesterday. You are, moving from one area to another. These guys come from Jogoo House, here in the CBD, and they decide, twende Nyamakema. They move with a crowd, and then they stop smack in the middle of the road, get on top of their vehicles, and they speak for an hour, even speak for 30 minutes. But by that time they finish speaking, they have basically just created an entire gridlock that will take so long to unblock, okay? This is what happens. Imagine now somebody who was in an emergency,
right,
and then you get caught up in that. You are going to a hospital in an emergency situation, you get caught up in that. You are responding to a distress call by somebody, you get caught up in that. You are heading somewhere which was timed. You are going, there's a bus ya saa tano, hapo chini bus station, uko hapa Nyamakema, bus inatoka, you get caught up in that. Bus leaves you, you're only paid for this one ticket, you don't have anything else, uko na mizigo.
Unaenda interview. It's your last round.
This is it. You get caught up in this, you just don't know what is happening. You get caught up. The inconvenience it causes far surpasses any good that we can put here. Any good.
Looking at what people try and do to not disrupt others elsewhere in the world, proper places, right? Stadiums, convention centers, a university hall, fairgrounds, right? Ticketing. Now, I know. However, I think it's a brilliant idea. It would make so much sense to say, ticketing doesn't have to be paid for, by the way, just more of a registration. Because I'm going to Tononoka, I know it can hold 2,000 people, 5,000 people. I don't need excess. I don't need people spilling over onto the road. I don't need to disrupt regular traffic. So you're my person, you're my supporter, you feel strongly about me. This is the platform. RSVP, chukua ticket. CSUZ, siseme mambo ya pesa. I'm just saying, just so I know.
For crowd management purposes.
Ticketing. I think it should be something as easy as that. Roadside stops completely out of the question from a security perspective. Traffic laws, and then of course if you are to stop traffic, you need another special permit, which we have talked about here. You need again to notify the police, procession itenda hivi, but you know how we do it over here. Community halls and town halls as well, something that we don't exploit enough here, because either we think of them as not being I don't know, friendly to our politicians. Ni place ya my youth, ni place ya ni place ya wale.
It's where the young people can go and
that's
waste their time.
That's actually exactly it. Wanaendanga kuchora, wanaendanga kufanya nini. But that's essentially what
they're idle. as they look for something else to do.
And that's essentially what a community center or a community hall is meant to be. That's exactly, it's doing the right job, but for us now it becomes a problem. Door-to-door canvassing that you had talked about, like, we don't have the patience for it. I don't think our politicians have the patience for it. But imagine...
They do, they time it.
Okay.
A few days to the election. Remember, when we were talking to, who are we having a conversation here with, and asking, how do you pace your campaign? So a few days to the election, that's when now you're going to do the door-to-doors, so that you appear ground with the people. But before that, you're just doing this is like when Polycarpigade was doing the door-to-doors. The door-to-doors, Even in Mbere North, we saw Kina Rigathi, Kina DP Kindiki and others also doing the door-to-doors.
True. I don't know why it didn't click as door-to-door. Yeah, but you're right.
Yeah, but they just time it just a few days, part of increasing the tempo. But before that, it's only this big rallies and trying now to come into, they've converted churches into moments for this campaign meeting.
My last one, man, go on TikTok live or Instagram live or Facebook live. Do you know how many people you could get there without disrupting anybody?
And you'll have a one-on-one engagement with as many as possible.
Yes. Ambia mtu hapo, they request for the mic, waulize swali, let them have the mic. Sell your agenda, sell your manifesto, talk to the people, find them where they are. And if it is young people, you'll find them on TikTok, you'll find them on Facebook, on Instagram, elsewhere. Easy as that. It requires no permit, requires no organizing, requires no fuel for your Gazla, requires, no police presence, just your phone, and you're good to go. Some things that, for example, Ikizo is actually bringing an issue. If you look at what the social media handles and the communications people of these politicians brag with, is the numbers. Yes. Okay? So you just go and make an impromptu stop at Githurai, and then they take the aerial shot of the number of people who are there. That shows support, So they say, this thing of yours of TT town halls, small, intimate meetings, will never work because it's not their thing. Town halls will never be acceptable to mainstream politicians. They need the visuals of large crowds. Maraga's campaign is dying because what? He's not doing roadsides. Hey, Triple M is asking, should we make a case for some of these rallies, since we have seen sometimes they can force concessions if grievances are legit? What are some of these rallies that force concessions? Are we talking about demonstrations where people have organized and said, we are going to do Tuesday? Tuesday. We go down this road all the way, to Pipeline, to Nini, and cause an entire gridlock of the entire city on Tuesday. That is, I think that's very different. That's not a rally. Yes, that's essentially a protest or a sit-in or, with multiple designated... No. To be honest, who does cause the choke points? And I'm thinking back to the last 2 years. The Tuesdays. The people who cause the choke points are the police, because you've barricaded entrances into the CBD. You've decided now no one is getting past a certain point depending on which major road they're coming from. Langata unasimamishwa labda T-Mall, Langata Road that is, Ngong Road labda before Coptic Ama Junction. It could be anywhere arbitrary. Thika Road, Piti Muthaiga, and so on and so forth. So you're choking up the roads yourself and then complaining that there's an entire blockade in the city. But also, because if the Public Order Act, as you quoted, says you shall notify of a venue or a procession route, surely you can't say all roads in Nairobi are procession routes for your procession on that day at the same time. No. You can't say we'll be on Jogoo Road, we'll be on Uhuru Highway, we'll be on Wayaki Way, we'll be on Kiambu Road, we'll be on Murang'a Road. Those were not the notices. It was the CBD that was the venue, the Central Business District, right? It's accessing. Which road? No. It's a Central Business District. Which roads in the Central Business District? The entire Central Business District. Yeah, I see now. The entire Central So is that a venue? Is that a procession route? It becomes because a procession route moves. The idea is it's moving. Yes. You can say you're moving from Kimathi Street, get on to Kenyatta Avenue, and then
turn this way into Kaunda Street, so on and so forth.
I think that was the idea, but then it became obviously impossible to do because now you're in running battles with tear gas, with the police. There's choke points, so people are now trying to just enter from anywhere that they can.
Okay.
So I think the idea probably did. I'm not aware of what kind of notices were given for Mandamano, but I think the idea was that it's a procession that should end. The very beginning should end at Parliament, right? So then, what it became from there.
It just
Also, a sit-in is still a form of assembly.
Yep.
And at some point, it did become something like that. People are not physically sitting, but it's just kaini tu apam disrupt. Just sit here, stand here, sing, play kati, and so on and so forth.
So to Likizo's point, not Likizo, to Triple M, can we make a case for some of the rallies because sometimes they force concessions?
Yeah, so the issue here is
do we justify the disruption?
The miss me here is roadside rallies. It's not rallies, it's not sit-ins, it's not protests, it's specifically roadside rallies.
Okay.
Something that is disruptive to everyday business without being of particular public interest. And I made that, I put the caveat because things can be disruptive to everyday business because of a greater good, a greater something.
Yeah. Triple M is arguing, is going to the end and asking whether the means justify the end. The end here is you forced a concession.
What's a concession?
Whatever, you've made the government do something. You've forced the oppressing party reverse their oppression. You've made your point, and the other party has heard you. All right. So the means is the impromptu rally, is the inconvenience caused to a traveler who was going somewhere, is the person who was in a maternity emergency and they had to go into labor and deliver a baby in a vehicle because there was a choke block. Does that justify?
I'll say no, because roadside rallies exist almost primarily for political interests. So no, I don't think that justifies, the means doesn't justify the ends to me.
He goes on to say, then if we are complaining about disruption, I can't think of worse scenarios than the disruption that comes with demos.
And I was going to say, so again, that's why I put that caveat there. Roadside rallies are not a matter of public interest, right? They're a matter of political interest. The politician sitting on top of the vehicle, that's the person who stands to gain from this gathering. Right?
Yeah.
Demos are meant to come as a result of expressing something that is a matter of public interest, that is a matter of public dissatisfaction. So the disruption is very much the root of, the disruption is the whole point. It is to disrupt peacefully, but to disrupt. And that's again why you're required to give notice to the police so that they can be able to secure, right? Not to disrupt, so they can be able to secure and to make sure that things are done in a proper way, to make sure that, of course, there are still pathways for an emergency vehicle to pass. There are still ways for people to make their way and go about their business, even with the disruption. So that the whole point is to disrupt in a public interest setting.
Disrupt who?
To disrupt life.
To disrupt public order.
Not public order, to disrupt the usual.
Yeah, that's public order. The usual is order.
I don't know.
You and I have actually debated on this before, and I still sit on that point where I say, if it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander. Also, if it's bad for the goose, it's also bad for the gander. And I think we have seen, for example, doctors, clinical officers have been on a strike here for many, many months, where every so often, once a week, they actually congregate somewhere, they do a procession, they go to Afya House, they sit outside Afya House, sometimes they go to the Council of Governors, and then they disperse. And you don't hear much of a disruption in terms of the order. If you are going towards NSSF and around the Afya House, you will still be able to access Afya House through other ways.
True.
They don't lie on the road. They don't barricade the road with stones. They don't light tires on the road. They don't do any of that. So if you are going about your business and you wanted to go to the nearby Kilimo House, you can still go to Kilimo House.
True.
And these guys are on their way. You see, that is, they are expressing themselves without necessarily disrupting somebody who is not concerned. Because then their justification would be, we want, so that Duale can hear us, we want to make sure that Mariam's day is also affected. Right? That's the other justification. And if we say that that justification doesn't hold, then it should not hold at any point where a Mariam who's not aware of this grievance finds rocks blockading a road, finds tires blockading a road, finds people lying on the road and completely blocking off her daily
I don't think I've ever, like, there's no point at which I'm pro, or saying, like, burn tires, put stones, blockade roads on, or like attempt to disrupt in that nature. The disruption is in just a massive amount of people gathering, right? Whether they're singing, they're chanting, whether they are sitting down, that is the disruption. It's not meant to become, you put tires on the road, it's not meant to become burn things. That is disorder.
It's not meant to block traffic.
It's not, no, blocking traffic now, that's a whole other thing because
blocking traffic either by your body or with a burnt tire, same.
No, one is destruction of property. The other one, because we do processions all the time, they disrupt traffic.
Blocking the road by coming with your own rocks and placing them on the road, and blocking traffic, or blocking traffic by coming with your own body and sitting down on the road. It's blocking traffic.
One is being intentionally destructive. The other one is exercising your right to assembly. There's a difference.
But not on a public road, not to the inconvenience of somebody else.
But we've just agreed that the Public Order Act agrees for processions.
Yes.
So you can have processions.
Yes. And those processions, what is going to happen in the procession is that there's going to be, first of all, order.
Yes.
So the procession is not blocking traffic.
And we're conflating two different things here. You can do a procession, it should not block traffic, it should move. It'll slow things down, it won't stop. That's one. Otherwise, you can also have the right to assemble. That's not movement. So essentially, you will be blocking roads at some point, depending on how big your numbers are.
Okay.
But it should not come at the cost of disrupting people's civil liberties. So that's again where the police come in. They should be the people to make sure that you're able to go about your essential business, right? And you're able to, things are kept safe. Everyone is okay, everyone is safe, there's emergency evacuation routes, there's traffic flowing around the sit-in or whatever you want to call it. So no critical choke points or whatevers are blocked. But you still do need to be able to exercise your right to assembly and to disrupt normal life to a reasonable degree to move your point across when it is a matter of public interest. That is the difference. To me, at least.
Likizo seems to agree with you to some extent, where he says doctors protesting is good trouble because aggrieved doctors are not good for society. An aggrieved politician, on the other hand, is not worth the disruption.
I agree.
Makanda, there's a difference between peaceably and peaceful. The law says peaceably in demos. A peaceful demo could fail to meet the peaceable threshold.
Let me check the difference between peaceably and peaceful.
Lenny, any rally in Kenya, whether roadside or otherwise, is just a PR strategy. Two, and we are trying all we can to be relevant. It's just politicians seeking relevance. And Charles Nogo says, hold roadside rallies, but don't block the road. Then we see where the roadside rallies will be held.
There we go. So the difference between
peaceably and peaceful.
Peaceably and peacefully. Peaceably implies a conscious, active choice to be calm and non-violent, often used for the actions of people, or for actions or people, while peacefully describes a state of being calm, quiet, or free from disturbance. I love that the Constitution has made that distinction. Thank you so much. That's a wonderful point. So the Constitution uses the words peaceably and unarmed. Peaceably here meaning an active choice to be calm and non-violent, right? While peacefully says the state of being calm, quiet, or free from disturbance. So the Constitution actually doesn't require you to not disturb, just to be calm and non-violent.
Yeah, and be intentional.
And intentional,
being
yes.
Intention of being peaceful.
Yes.
So intention means
yes.
that you will be peaceful because you intend to be peaceful.
Intention
Yeah.
No.
Peaceably is that there's intention here.
Active choice.
Yes.
Active choice. Conscious active choice.
Conscious active choices.
To be calm and non-violent.
You intend to not be disruptive.
To be calm and non-violent. Yes. Hakuna story disruptive hapo.
Calm and non-violence is non-disruptive.
No, you have to disrupt. You cannot say you are, for example, holding assembly or demonstrating against a bill and you're not going to be disruptive. Then what are you doing? The entire aim is to disrupt. But it is not to disrupt people's peace or to disrupt their businesses. It is just to send a point across. So again, it has to be done with intention, right? Calm, yes, non-violent, but to be non-disruptive, then you're not doing anything.
Okay. Can we then, let's flip it. If we say that politicians, for example, going to a church service in Kitengela and then on their way to come to Nyayo Stadium, intentionally wanting to be calm and non-violent, stop to address the people for a few minutes, which end up, being an hour. Would we justify that? Because we're just coming back full circle.
It's a false equivalence. Yeah? It's a false equivalence. It's a false equivalence again, because I'm giving examples here of demos that are essentially something that you have already notified people about, right? Where all the things that need to be done to ensure that they go well are being done, where all actors are doing what they're supposed to do, which is you as the organizer notifying the police, notifying people of how you expect them to behave and where you will be and what time and all of that.
Not impromptu.
Not impromptu. That is the core of it. So then you can't equate that to a roadside rally of watu wananipenda wacha nisimame hapa niwaongeleshe. It's quite the false equivalence. One is clearly disruptive and boring. The other one is exercising constitutional rights within proper boundaries if all factors are held constant and everybody is moving in good faith. Yeah.
I think coming up to the bigger point is, as we are getting into this election silly season, with the fact that the society seems to be accepting that now rallies shall not be held on grounds, that rallies shall be held on highways, it's going to get worse. That you will find political rallies being held on highways every day as we go into an election, because people decided that we are going to have a caravan. They have a route. They've mapped out a route. We are going to start in Nairobi, and we shall end up going all the way to Isinya. We end up in Kiserian. So we shall go through Kitengela, stop for hours. Kisaju, stop for hours. Isinya, stop for hours. Enter through that road, go to Kiserian, stop for hours. Come down all the way to Rungai, stop for hours. By the time they get back to Nairobi, that entire route is their venue for political rallies. Nowhere off the road. Always on the road and on top of vehicles, mobilizing people to come and block the road.
Right.
That causes inconvenience. And if we don't have a problem with that, then we have a problem with something.
Right.
Yeah, it is. We have a problem somewhere. If we can't see a problem with that, it causes a lot of disruption, unnecessary, unwarranted. It causes a lot of delays to people who should not be delayed, unnecessarily, unwarranted. Not everybody is a supporter, for example, of this particular political movement.
True.
People who are even supporters of that particular political movement, but on this particular day, they are not from Kitengela, or from Kamukunji, or from Mbere, but they were just passing by. They should not be disrupted. If we don't have a problem with that, we have a big problem somewhere else.
I agree.
And this is what now will bring in those justifications of, you caused a police gridlock, a traffic gridlock, and police were trying to clear the traffic gridlock, and there were so many people, so police ended up now trying to disperse the crowds using tear gas. Those other side sort of justifications will come in here, and they're not justified. But the impromptu roadside rallies should also not be justified.
I agree.
You want to have a rally, go somewhere to a ground, let your people come there, meet with them, address them, move.
Right.
You want to address them from on top of your vehicle, it's okay, you can park your car.
In the middle of the
grounds. Talk, move.
And keep it moving.
Yeah.
I agree. We'll leave it there, but the idea of, like you said, the idea of roadside rallies will probably, we'll see an increase in the number as we go into election season, but it shouldn't be the case. I would say we may not have immediate control over what politicians do or where they do it, but wewe kama mwananchi, the one who is being mobilized and told to go somewhere, visit this person, they're coming, go say hello. It's okay to also say no and to go about your business, your daily business, to not cause a disruption for yourself and for the next person, right? Let's, positive peer pressure.
Yeah.
Let's close the conversation now, but in the next hour, we'll be having, of course, Your World coming up. Quite a bit happening. Leo kuna visitors wanaongea juu ya open relationships and polyamory. Is it freedom or confusion? Eric, is it freedom or confusion?
What is that anyway? What's an open relationship?
Niko na wewe, but tuko na ule pia. Na mimi niko na ule.
Okay.
But tuko wote.
Okay. So are we together or are we not?
We're together. We allow other people to be together.
This
with
is
us.
where Mutuse is asked, are you with us? And he says, I am with us.
I am with us. That's on Your World coming up right now with Winnie Lubembe and of course Mariam Wikali. On Vibe Shift, Claudia Naisabwa and Brian Aseli will be in studio. Thank you so much for joining us. Tuendele na kazi kesho Wednesday, 6 to 10 a.m. Hashtag is Fixing the Nation and TV. From myself, Mariam Bishar, Eric Latif, and Janet Mbogo in absentia. Have a good Tuesday.